Good morning and welcome to Crypto Charts Daily. This is the Crypto Charts Daily Report. I'm your host Tanner. Today is September 2nd, 2025. Jumping right into it here, we can see the market cap has increased by 0.8%, as well as CMC 100 increasing by about 0.09%. We could see that the fear and greed index, as well as altcoin season and the relative strength, is pretty neutral here. In fact, fear and greed is slipping into a fear stage, and we will probably continue to see sell-offs because of that. Now let's jump right into the technical analysis. Because this is the second episode, guys, I would just like to detail what we do here every day at Crypto Charts Daily. We do analysis on the big three, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then we jump into the altcoins list, and I'll just quickly go over the altcoins list right now. We do Binance, Solana, ADA, Chainlink, XLM, Avalanche, Hedera, Polkadot, Uniswap, Ondo, Polygon, Algorand, Quant, IOTA, and XDC. On Mondays, we have Meme Coin Mondays, where I'll analyze the top meme coins. The first episode was yesterday, so if you'd like to watch that, go ahead and click the channel button and please subscribe as well. If you enjoy this type of content, it would really help me out to see where we're at and if people will enjoy this type of in-depth technical analysis. So we did Doge, Shiba, and Pepe yesterday. But it was the first episode. So if you guys want to see me analyze more meme coins, drop your favorite meme coin in the comments below. With that being said, let's get right into the technical analysis here on Bitcoin. As we could see yesterday, we did predict that price would push up into this order block a little bit, and then we'll see if we get rejected down. So just continuing off our ideas from yesterday, as we could see, there's a low here, created a nice order block, a nice resistance to the downside. As we can see, we're tapping into that now, seeing rejection. And if we see price push below about 10723, we'll see price push down into that higher time frame support. And again, we'll look for our reaction out of the support or our eventual breakdown of the support. If we don't end up breaking the low of 107,277 today, we will see if we push up above this order block to about 113,500, and then we could see if we will target the highs or found some sort of resistance up here. All right, getting into Ethereum, same story as yesterday. Yesterday, we didn't know if this daily candle was going to hold in this support zone. As we could see, we closed yesterday pretty bearish in the support zone. So I would expect price to push down below the support today or in the next coming days of about $4,000. And that would just make sense to perhaps return to this structure here, $3,900. If we do end up seeing this support hold, though, I would look for a price to break this high now of $4,500 to then eventually run up. But again, I think that because we just closed the previous day in this support, I think we'll see price push down to about 4,000 in the coming days. And if we end up doing that, price might bounce this flip, or it will probably come down to this higher time frame support level. Jumping into XRP here, as we can see the past few days, this failed support has flipped to resistance, and we've just been watching to see how price will react now to these highs and these lows. Jumping into the 4-hour time frame, we could see that we have pretty clear resistance right at our flip zone. So we just simply want to mark out this high. If price comes up to 28733, there's a chance that it will run higher. And if we do just continue to get rejected today, obviously price will come down to about 2669 and then push down to fill and balance. But we are at a great spot for XRP to change character and start trending upwards. We swept major liquidity after our failed push back to highs. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting to monitor over the next coming days and could perhaps provide us some opportunity to catch some upside here soon. Now hopping into the altcoins, starting with Binance Coin. Not much in the way of analysis today. We just predicted that price would start retracing over the next coming days, and that's exactly what I still want to see. I want to see the liquidity get broken and price start coming down into these lows, perhaps an order block into this order block, and then we could see how price will react from there. Now for Solana, still just the same thing, ranging, accumulating above the support. And over the next few days, I just want to see how price reacts to the support and if we could get a break to the upside. Support is around 190 and the break to the upside would be about 217. Looking at the 4-hour time frame for our refinements, as we can see, we have our higher time frame support here, but we also have a nice order block or nice support zone formed here on all these breaks of structure. So again, I would just expect price to retrace and we could watch how it reacts from these lows over the next few days here. But we are just accumulating on the hourly before the eventual push up or push down. Cardano here, we predicted price push down to our support of 77 cents. Looks like by the end of the day, we almost made a push yesterday, almost tapping into that support. So obviously over the next few days, we will just see if we start to break any internal highs, signaling a change of character to the upside, or we'll see how obviously price reacts to the support. We might have to come down and test it a few more times. Chainlink, much like Binance Coin, I'm waiting for price to retrace a bit, fill some imbalance and bounce support. So over the next few days, we'll just see how it reacts here, how it retraces, if it accumulates, if it dips suddenly, if we come back up to break highs. We are just watching here, pretty neutral, not much to analyze right now, not in any key areas or points of interest at the moment. But we could just continue off this order block. I'd say unlikely because we closed in it on the daily, but we are seeing this daily candle push up a bit, and if we do see it close significantly high, I would look for a push to 27 to the highs. If we do end up rejecting them and closing bearish on the day, I'd expect price to push down below 21 again and fill that imbalance and bounce support. Stellar Lumens, much like XRP here, we are breaking lows, flipping that support, and now I'd expect price to retrace up a bit back into that now resistance at about 40 cents before pushing down to the eventual support or perhaps Fibonacci levels here. If not, if we do end up making some nice chalks on the lower time frame and end up pushing past this resistance level, then we will look for the eventual, the eventual change of character here. Avalanche, not much in the way of analysis. We are just in this big accumulation phase, bouncing around this support and resistance zone of about $20 here. Pretty good range with the equilibrium being that support zone. Could just be a good accumulation area, but again, you don't want to be buying the top of this range. You want to be buying the bottom, not financial advice. But that's what we're looking at in the next few weeks or months here, or perhaps even years here on Avalanche. So the top of the range is $26 and the bottom is $16. Hedra, like the other ISO coins, unfortunately, flipping that support, creating resistance. So I just expect price to push back up into that resistance area of 23341, filling some of that imbalance left here on the daily before pushing back down. Polkadot, nothing new. We do just seem to be bouncing a support zone around 360 to 350. We are just in a accumulation area, it appears. Again, I would not touch this thing until we get a break above that support and resistance flip here of about 432, not financial advice. Uniswap here, our analysis from yesterday looks pretty solid. I would still just expect this same thing here. As you can see on the past day, we did start tapping into that order block. If you guys are unfamiliar with order blocks, all you guys need to do is pretty much take the last two candles of whatever break of structure you had. And as you can see, we are getting a reaction from this order block. We can push from the upside. But if we do get a break to about $8.670 here, if we do break below that, we will push down to the higher time frame support of $6.67. Ondo here, creating some sort of support at these lows. Price is failing to break below these lows. So the next few days, I would just, again, keep monitoring these lows at 85 cents here to see if price breaks below them and then heads to 6 cents. If we do end up closing bullish on the day and pushing above 9 cents or this 10-cent resistance level, or dollar resistance level, excuse me, I would like to target this liquidity up here, but again, wait for the break and retest. But I do think we are just in an accumulation phase here before it eventually comes down into the higher time frame support. Polygon, not much to say that we didn't say yesterday. Again, in an accumulation phase, historically a decent place to buy around 30 cents here. We actually did dip below that support zone, so creating resistance, waiting for the break and the retest of that 30-cent price level. Algorand, unlike the other ISO coins, still holding its relative support at 22 cents here. And I'm just looking again to see if price breaks these lows and how badly or how violently it breaks the lows here in the next few days, and we'll look for a break and retest of that support flip, or we'll look for price to hold in the next few days. I'd expect price to come up and fill some imbalances, maybe bounce this higher time frame resistance here. But if we do start seeing strength in the next few days, we'll start looking for our reversal back up to highs. But again, with a possible bear market right around the corner, I'm expecting these lows to probably break and we could look for a retest. Just refining Algorand down to the 4-hour time frame, we could see a nice support and resistance here that it's holding, matched up perfectly with our higher time frame support. So if price breaks below 21.20 and closes down there on the day, we are going to be looking pretty bearish. But if we do end up holding this support and bouncing up, I think we would obviously need to fill some imbalance pretty significantly, not get rejected, and we'd have to look for a push somewhere over these highs of about 25 cents. Quant, again, getting rejected at that now resistance level of 117, and we're just looking for a retracement down to this daily order block around 94. And if we find no support at that order block, that broke structure to the upside, we will probably come down into this 80 to $60 range here. IOTA, again, not much to say. The analysis yesterday is still seemingly pretty true. Just looking for a bounce of some sort of support down here at about 16 cents for the eventual push up past 25 to 30 cents. Same thing with XDC, wrapping up our altcoins here. Again, just basic support and resistance flips. Yesterday's analysis still stands pretty true here. Let's look at the 4 hours again, just in some sort of accumulation phase before the eventual waterfall or blow off here. That concludes the second episode of the Crypto Charts Daily Report. Thank you for being here with me on this Tuesday morning. And if you enjoyed this type of content, like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. Thank you guys. Peace out.